So we are going to start paper 125070, May June 2020. Okay. Question number 1. The diagram shows four pieces of apparatus that are used to measure the volume of a gas or liquid. Which piece of pressure should always be filled to the same level? जी किसका करेक्ट आंसर कोई बता सकता है आप में से?
D.
Yes, very good. Because if you see, we have indeed there is a 1 mark only, but all the other have scales. So A, B, and C can be filled to the any mark on the scale, but D is the only one that is filled to the one same level. Is it understandable, Shafe and Variza? And uh, Rubaina? जी भाई क्लियर है सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now question number 2. Aqueous sodium thiosulfate reacts with acid to make a precipitate of sulfur. Okay. A student investigates the effect of temperature on the rate of reaction. Okay. The student places a piece of paper with a cross on it below the reaction mixture as shown in the diagram. Measure the time taken for the cross to no longer seen. Obviously, if the precipitates are formed, so the cross disappear if you are looking from the top view. Repeat the reactions at different temperatures to identify the effect of temperature on the rate. So is question is understandable to everyone? Now what they are saying, which apparatus is used to investigate is needed for this investigation? Okay. See, both are aqueous, right? Both the reactants are aqueous. If both the reactants are aqueous, do we need a balance? Yes, do we need a balance in this case? Balance is used to record the mass, right? Weigh the substance and note its mass. So we do not need it because we have a aqueous solution. So A and B goes wrong.
D.
Yes, a D is the correct answer because burette is used for the specific. No, not actually. If you look over here, it's a gas syringe because see, we are not measuring the gas. A gas is forming over here, but we are not measuring the gas. We are just observing the time in which the cross becomes disappear. So that makes C also wrong. So we are left with the D option. So D is the correct answer. Is this clear to everyone? जी शाफे रुबाइना क्लियर है आप दोनों को भी? D. Okay, question number 3. A paper chromatography experiment is carried out to find an RF value for Fe3 positive aqueous ion. The result is shown. Okay. To make the spot containing Fe3 positive ion more visible, the paper is sprayed with aqueous sodium hydroxide so that the precipitate of iron 3 hydroxide is formed. So it is relevant to the test of cations when we add a sodium hydroxide and the solution contains Fe3 positive, then we will observe a red brown precipitate. So here also it is visible. as by spraying sodium hydroxide, red brown precipitate will form. ये बात क्लियर है सबको?
जी सर।
Okay. Under the conditions of the experiment, the RF of Fe3 positive is given by
X over Y.
X over Y. Yes, very good, because X is the distance of Fe3 positive travel and Y is the distance of solvent. So it's X over Y. And the color of precipitate is, we have decided, red brown. So C and D goes wrong. And now we are left with A and B. And we make B as well wrong, because they are saying green precipitate are formed when there is Fe3 positive ion. So we are left with A only. So A is the correct answer. जी, रुबाइना, वरीजा और शाफे, आप सबको क्लियर है? Yes, please tell me. Question number 4. The diagram shows two experiments. Experiment 1. Add a few drops of NaOH. Precipitates are formed if there is aluminum ion, so these precipitates are white in color. White precipitates. And on adding excess of sodium hydroxide, if you recall, we will get a, just give me a minute, please. Uh, colorless solution. All the precipitate dissolves, right? Now in experiment 2, we have added few drops of NaOH, and when we add few drops of NaOH, pale blue precipitates are formed. The color of the precipitates are pale blue, and here the color of the precipitates are white. So on adding excess of NaOH, so if we add excess NaOH, these precipitates remains undissolved. Precipitate are insoluble in excess. जी, ये सबको समझ में आ गया? Yes, Variza. Yes, Rubaina, and yes, Shafe.
Yes sir.
Okay. So what are the results of adding aqueous NaOH in each experiment? So if their precipitate remains, we have to mark tick, and if precipitate dissolves, we have to mark cross. So we have decided that in experiment 1, sorry, the precipitate dissolves. So if the precipitate dissolves, then I can easily mark A and B wrong, because here they are saying the precipitate remains. ये बात समझ में आ रही है सबको? Now we are left with C and D, and I can mark D as a wrong, because in D they are saying in experiment 2 the precipitate dissolves, but in experiment 2 the precipitate remains. So C is our correct answer. Yes, is it understandable to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now question number 5. Which method of separation require a change of state from liquid to gas? In paper chromatography, do we have to do this? Do we have to
No,
change
sir.
the liquid? No. In crystallization, do you have to change the liquid into gas?
No, sir.
No. In distillation, do you have to change the liquid into gas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. But I think so. Here we have to also change the liquid into gas, because we in crystallization we evaporate some of the solvent. So if we evaporate some of the solvent, then the state change from liquid to gas occurs in crystallization as well, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So into the crystallization, a liquid changes to a gas, and during the distillation. And what about the filtration? In filtration, only a
No.
solid gets separated, so there is a no change of liquid to a gas, so it also goes wrong. So we are left with the second and third statement is correct. So it means that C is correct answer. Yes, Shafe, Rubaina, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question number 6. Hydrogen sulfide H2S and hydrogen chloride HCl are both gases at temperature above -50. Which gas will diffuse most rapidly at the temperature given? So at any temperature, okay. So on first tell me at what temperature, whether 40 or -20 degrees, at which temperature the gas diffuses more rapidly?
-20.
Yes, -20, because -20 is a higher temperature. So if it's a higher temperature, diffusion will be faster. So it makes I can easily mark C and B wrong. ये बात clear है सबको?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the two gases at the same temperature, so we have to look for their MR. The one which have a lower MR will diffuses more faster. So hydrogen, there are two hydrogen, so their mass is 2 and sulfur is 32, which makes the whole mass 34 MR. And if I talk about hydrogen chloride, it is 1 hydrogen and 35.5 is the mass of 1 chlorine, which makes it 36.5. So it's a heavy, it diffuses slowly, and it's a lighter, it diffuses faster. So on the basis of this, I can mark B wrong and B is my correct answer. ये बात clear है सबको? जी ये समझ में आ गया सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay, question number 7. The diagram shows the relative mass and the relative charge of two particles. Okay, and what are these two particles? A dot and a circle present in atoms and ions. Okay. So which of these particles are present in hydrogen atom and in hydrogen ion? Yes, can anybody identify? जी आप में से कोई आइडेंटिफाई करेगा? अच्छा
सर
सुने।
जो ब्लैक डॉट है वो H+ में नहीं होगा।
ओके अच्छा ब्लैक के बारे में हम क्या कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं? इट्स एन इलेक्ट्रॉन राइट बिकॉज इट हैव अ -1 चार्ज। और इसके बारे में हम क्या कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं? इट्स अ न्यूट्रॉन बिकॉज इट डजंट हैव एनी चार्ज राइट। जी शाफे और रुबाइना ये बात क्लियर है? और इलेक्ट्रॉन है तो वो H पॉजिटिव में नहीं होगा। अच्छा बट व्हाट अबाउट न्यूट्रॉन? न्यूट्रॉन तो H पॉजिटिव और उसमें किसी में नहीं होता ना। सिर्फ जो न्यूट्रॉन है जो सर्किल है वो तो ना हाइड्रोजन में होगा ना हाइड्रोजन आयन में होगा। ये बात समझ में आ रही है? तो अगर इस इलेक्ट्रॉन की बात की जाए तो ये हाइड्रोजन एटम में होगा और ये हाइड्रोजन आयन में नहीं होगा। और इस न्यूट्रॉन की बात की जाए तो ये हाइड्रोजन एटम हो या हाइड्रोजन आयन हो दोनों में नहीं होगा। ठीक है तो इस बेसिस पे देखा जाए तो इसमें बोथ का है तो ए और बी तो रॉन्ग हो गए क्योंकि उन दोनों में वो डॉट को कह रहे हैं। अच्छा डी में भी कह रहे हैं कि ये जो डॉट है जो न्यूट्रॉन है वो हाइड्रोजन एटम में होगा तो डी भी रॉन्ग हो गया तो हमारे पास बचा ही सी। So C is the correct answer. Yes, Shafe, Variza, and Rubaina. If anybody have any doubt or confusion, kindly ask. जी भाई सबको क्लियर है?
सर न्यूट्रॉन नहीं होता हाइड्रोजन एटम में।
हाँ हाइड्रोजन एटम में सिर्फ एक प्रोटॉन और एक इलेक्ट्रॉन होता है ना। हाइड्रोजन एटम डजंट हैव अ न्यूट्रॉन। हाइड्रोजन एटम का न्यूक्लियन नंबर क्या होता है? अगर आप देखें पीरियोडिक टेबल में तो यू विल फाइंड इट्स न्यूक्लियन नंबर इज 1। और न्यूक्लियन नंबर 1 होने का मतलब है सो 1 प्रोटॉन एंड नो नो न्यूट्रॉन। ठीक है जी रुबाइना आपको क्लियर है बेटा? शाफे आपको क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now which ion has the most shell that contain electron? So we have to figure it out. First, if you look at aluminium, aluminium have a third period. एक मिनट देखें एल्यूमिनियम की पहले बात हो रही है तो एल्यूमिनियम का थर्ड पीरियड है। और अगर थर्ड पीरियड है तो इसका मतलब है इसमें शेल कितने होंगे? 3 शेल्स होंगे। बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एल्यूमिनियम 3 पॉजिटिव आयन इट हैव 2 शेल्स। ये बात क्लियर है सबको? Yes. Then if we talk about beryllium, beryllium have second period. आप लोग अपने periodic table में देख सकते हैं। So when we talk about beryllium 2 positive ion, it have only one shell क्योंकि 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आउटरमोस्ट शेल से निकल गए। तो इसके पास तो शेल सबसे कम हो गए तो इसीलिए बी को हम रॉन्ग मार्क कर देंगे। Okay, after beryllium we have a nitrogen. नाइट्रोजन की बात की जाए तो नाइट्रोजन सेकंड पीरियड में होता है, ठीक है, और वो नेगेटिव आयन बन रहा है, तो नेगेटिव आयन बनने का मतलब है कि उसके उसी शेल में नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन कंप्लीट हो गए, तो इसके दो शेल और इसके दो शेल्स दोनों के सेम शेल्स हैं, तो इसका मतलब है ये दोनों भी रॉन्ग हो गए, क्योंकि एक ही होगा ना जिसके पास सबसे ज्यादा शेल होंगे, तो इट मींस आपके पास एक ही ऑप्शन बचा डी, और डी करेक्ट है। अब अगर मैं डी को जस्टिफाई करूं तो सल्फर, इफ यू लुक इनटू सल्फर, सल्फर इज इन थर्ड पीरियड, ठीक है, और जब वो टू नेगेटिव आयन बनाएगा तो उसका शेल कम नहीं होगा, उसके इक्वल शेल्स होंगे, ठीक है, तो थ्री शेल सबसे ज्यादा शेल्स हैं, इसीलिए डी करेक्ट आंसर है। जी ये क्लियर है सबको? यस फरीजा एंड शाफे।
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
जी शाफे कुछ कह रहे हैं आप?
जी सर, क्लियर है।
ओके, नाउ which substance conduct electricity both when solid and when molten? molten का मतलब क्या है? अगर किसी को याद नहीं है तो it's a liquid. So if we talk about a salt, salt conducts electricity in its solid state, but in molten state it does not. So D goes wrong. Metal oxide does not conduct electricity in solid state but do conduct electricity in its liquid state, so it also goes wrong. Hydrocarbon can be in any state and it's a non-metal covalent substance, so it does not conduct the electricity. So alloy is what? It is a mixture of metals, right? And if it's a mixture of metals, so it can conduct electricity whether it's a solid or whether it's a liquid. So A is our correct answer. जी ये clear है सबको?
Ji, sir.
Okay. Now question number 10. When they react together, which pair of elements form an ionic compound? Okay, carbon and hydrogen. कभी भी ionic? क्या बनाएंगे carbon and hydrogen ionic compound?
Nice, sir.
नहीं बनाएंगे. What about hydrogen and chlorine?
No, sir.
No, it's methane. Example is, and here the example is hydrogen chloride. No. What about lithium and oxygen? It's lithium oxide, and here we have a sulfur dioxide. So here, in this case, if we will find sulfur dioxide is not a ionic one, it is a covalent one as well. So the correct answer is C. जी ये clear है सबको?
Ji, sir.
Okay. How many shared electrons are in one molecule, in one carbon dioxide molecule? So here you have a carbon dioxide molecule. Can anybody work out? 8. Okay, that's very good, because carbon have a 4 electrons, and carbon when forms a bond with oxygen, each oxygen share its 2 electrons and have a 2 lone pairs. So in this way, these are the shared pair, and if we count, what will we get? 8 electrons are answer. So C is my correct answer. जी ये बात क्लियर है सबको? यस शाफे.
जी सर.
Okay. Now question number 11. No, sorry, question number 12. Element X has a lattice of positive ions and C of electrons, so it means that X is a metal. Which property will X have? It conducts electricity by the movement of ions and electrons. Does this statement seems correct or wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong. Yes, because ions do not move. Electrons move, but ions do not move in the solid state. It has a high melting point. Does this statement correct or wrong?
Correct.
Correct. Yes. But let me confirm the other one. It is decomposed by an electric current. That is completely wrong. Uh, Electrolyte can be decomposed by an electric compound, the electrolytic compound, and it's an element. So element cannot be decomposed by electric current. Okay. Now, it is not malleable. So again, this statement is wrong. Why? Because metals are malleable. So the B is our correct answer. जी यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now question number 13. Which row shows the correct state symbols for the reaction between calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid? The conditions are room temperature and pressure. Okay. So calcium carbonate is solid. So all are correct. Hydrochloric acid, they have said that it is dilute hydrochloric acid. So it means it's an aqueous. So these two are liquid. So it makes me to assure that B and C goes wrong. तो मैं B और C को exclude कर दूंगा यहीं पे. Now I am left with the three things. Okay. So calcium chloride, a soluble salt. So now again, with whether A or D could be a correct one, but if we look over water, water is not aqueous. Water is a liquid. So this makes this wrong, and on the basis of that, I can exclude A as well. So I am left with the D option only. So D is my correct answer. Yes, Shafe. Yes, Fariza. समझ में आ गया ये क्वेश्चन?
Yes, sir.
14. The expression shown for the value of AR for fluorine is incomplete. Okay. AR of fluorine. Average mass of one atom of fluorine, because AR refers to relevant or relative atomic mass. So here it can be an atom divided by 1/12th mass of the one atom of carbon 12. So it's an atom. So these two are can be correct and these two are wrong. And here it's 1.6, which makes A wrong. So A, C, and D are wrong, and we are left with the B option. So B is the correct answer. जी समझ में आ गया सबको? Now, question number 15. A mixture of 5 cm cube of methane and 100 cm cube of air is exploded. Okay. Assume air is 80% nitrogen by volume and 20% oxygen by volume. So on the basis of that, what I can conclude about this 100 cm cube, that 80 cm cube is nitrogen over here and 20 cm cube is oxygen over here. ये बात सबको समझ में आ गई? The resulting mixture is cooled. All volumes are measured at room temperature and pressure. What is the composition of the resulting gas? अच्छा, अब अगर आप देखें तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास जो इक्वेशन में रेशियो है वो मीथेन और ऑक्सीजन का 1:2 है, और जो हमें इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड की गई है मीथेन और ऑक्सीजन की, उसमें रेशियो क्या बन रहा है? 5:20। अगर मैं इसको सिंप्लीफाई करूं तो ये 1:4 बनेगा। तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि अगर 5 इस रेशियो के अकॉर्डिंग देखें तो अगर ये 5 cm³ है तो इससे 10 cm³ ये रिएक्ट करेगा, ठीक है ना? और 10 cm³ विल बी लेफ्ट अनरिएक्टेड। ये पॉइंट समझ में आया सबको? जी, यस वरीजा एंड शाफे, ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ कि जब अकॉर्डिंग टू द इक्वेशन इसका 1 मोल है और इसका 2 मोल है तो डबल वॉल्यूम रिएक्ट करेगा। तो अगर गैस के 5 cm³ हैं तो ऑक्सीजन के 10 cm³ से रिएक्शन होगा, और 10 cm³ ऑक्सीजन का लेफ्ट हो जाएगा, बच जाएगा अनरिएक्टेड। जी वरीजा, ये क्लियर है आपको?
जी जी सर।
ओके, तो जब ये दोनों की इतनी इतनी अमाउंट होगी तो उस वक्त इनकी कोई अमाउंट फॉर्म नहीं होगी, और रिएक्शन होगा तो ये दोनों नील हो जाएंगे। और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड देखा जाए तो कितना फॉर्म होगा? मीथेन और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का सेम रेशियो है, तो इट मींस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड 5 cm³ फॉर्म होगा। और जो है इधर हमारे पास इन्होंने स्टीम दी है, ठीक है? यहाँ पे स्टीम लिखा है और यहाँ पे लिक्विड है, तो इसका मतलब है कि स्टीम तो फॉर्म ही नहीं हो रही ना। तो अगर स्टीम फॉर्म ही नहीं हो रही तो ए भी रॉन्ग हो गया और सी भी रॉन्ग हो गया। ये बात समझ में आई?
नहीं सर, मुझे समझ नहीं आया।
ठीक है, क्योंकि इन्होंने स्टेट यहाँ पे इसकी क्या दी है? वाटर, और यहाँ पे इन्होंने स्टीम लिखा है। स्टीम का मतलब है H2O गैस, तो स्टीम तो फॉर्म ही नहीं हो रही,
जी सर।
तो इसीलिए मैंने ए और सी को रॉन्ग कर दिया। ये पॉइंट अब क्लियर हुआ?
जी सर।
ओके, अब कंपोजिशन क्या कह रहे हैं? जो रिजल्टिंग मिक्सचर है उसमें 5 cm³ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड होगी, ठीक है, जो कि बी में भी करेक्ट है, डी में भी करेक्ट है। 10 cm³ ऑक्सीजन होगा, जो हमने बात की थी कि अनरिएक्टेड बचेगा, तो बिल्कुल सही है। यहाँ पे ये कह रहे हैं नहीं है, तो इसका मतलब है मैं डी को भी एक्सक्लूड कर दूंगा। तो हमारे पास एक ही ऑप्शन बचेगा, बी, और बी जो है हमारा करेक्ट आंसर होगा। जी क्लियर हो गया वरीजा?
जी सर।
और 80 cm³ तो नाइट्रोजन ऑलरेडी है ना, अनरिएक्टेड है। ओके, which arrangement is used to electroplate copper onto steel key? Yes, can you identify the correct answer?
ए।
इलेक्ट्रोलाइट कॉपर टू सल्फेट, ठीक है, ठीक है। और अगर मैं इलेक्ट्रोलाइट कॉपर टू सल्फेट लूंगा, बिल्कुल, क्योंकि मुझे कॉपर की प्लेटिंग करनी है, तो सी और डी रॉन्ग हो गया। ये दोनों करेक्ट है। एनोड पॉजिटिव इलेक्ट्रोड पे, नहीं, पॉजिटिव इलेक्ट्रोड पे स्टील की तो नहीं होगी, तो बी भी रॉन्ग हो गया, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि स्टील की नेगेटिव प्लेट पे होगी ताकि कॉपर आयंस आके उधर अट्रैक्ट हो। तो it means A is correct answer. Yes, very good, Variza. Now question number 17. The chloride of metal X is dissolved in water. Okay. The concentrated solution of this chloride is electrolyzed using inert electrodes. Okay. X is above sodium in the reactivity series. उन्होंने X बता दिया कि जो भी X है वो सोडियम से above है, reactivity series है. In addition to a chlorine, which gas is liberated at which electrode?
हाइड्रोजन एट कैथोड।
Hydrogen at cathode. And why is that? जी क्यों हाइड्रोजन एट कैथोड?
हाइड्रोजन इज लोअर इन रिएक्टिविटी सीरीज, तो वो रेडिली जो है वो बन जाएगा।
Very good. So B is our correct answer. Okay. Now question number 18. Which change in condition for the reaction between zinc and dilute sulfuric acid increases the rate of reaction by lowering activation energy? So it's very simple. Whenever we talk about lowering activation energy, it always refers to a catalyst. So A is our correct answer. जी ये क्लियर हो गया?
जी सर.
Okay. Many reactions can be classified as a redox reaction. Which equation show redox reaction? Okay, magnesium is a metal, so over here as an element, so it have a no charge, and here it have a 2+ charge, so it's a redox. Iron is +2 over here because of 2 chlorine, and here we have a 3 chlorine, so iron is 3+ over here. Here both have a no charge, and here both have a charges, so it means all are redox. So the correct answer is A. G where is clear?
जी सर.
Question number 20. Which rock correctly shows whether the hydrogen ion concentration and the pH of ethanoic acid are higher or lower than those of hydrochloric acid of the same concentration? Okay, तो ये बताइए कि if we have a same concentration of hydrochloric acid and ethanoic acid, who have a higher concentration of hydrogen ions?
HCl.
HCl, yes. And why?
Because it is a strong acid.
Yes, very good. It's a strong acid. And here we have a weak acid. So it means I will mark A and B wrong because ethanoic acid have a lower concentration of hydrogen ions. ये बात clear है?
जी सर.
Okay. Now we are left with P and D. So who have a higher pH? HCl or ethanoic acid?
Ethanoic acid.
Yes, ethanoic acid pH is higher because it's a weak acid, and its pH is lower because it's a strong acid. So here D goes wrong and my correct answer is C. ठीक है वरीजा, यहाँ तक clear है?
जी सर.
Okay, so shall we keep the class till here today? And there will be no class tomorrow, but we will have a class on Sunday, okay?
Okay sir.